wisdom and insight from both sides. So I will leave this floor open for Rajiv. And one or two things which I would like to tell everybody here is we will not have the question and answers in between, right, Rajiv?
That's right.
You
That's
would
right.
like to have the question answers at the end of
Yeah.
the session. So please make a note of it. And what we will do is we will say we will entertain about 8 to 10 questions and keep them very specific, very pointed, and they have to be in such a way that they are useful to the community. Okay, there could be specific questions on your domain area. That's fine. Domain is something which I would love you to come back with, but let that be something which is useful to everybody rather than just to your startup. That will help all of us. And okay, Rajiv, the floor is open for you. And
All right.
this is the fifth session of Startup Masterclass by the IT startups. And I think we've got a long way to go in future. So thanks so much. Thanks for coming for this.
Okay. Thanks, Ranjan, for the kind introductions, and welcome to all for this session, which I've been talking for a long time with Murli as well. And I think I keep saying that generally when you go to the startup page, they say, well, we need money. I said you need product as well. Okay. So when you need money to run the organization, you need Guru Dronacharyas to win the battle. So therefore, I think I felt the need that stronger the product, better is your journey, because at the end of the day, no matter what you do, what you get, what you're planning to do, unless and until your product speaks by itself, then you're not going to make a dent in the market or a success in the market. So with that intent in the mind, with that objective in the mind, I've tried to bring out certain things in this presentation. Will make it more interactive, but of course, if there's a very compelling reason to stop me, do stop me, as Anjan said. Otherwise, we'll have at the end of the session. All right. So let me share my screen now. Please let me know when you can see my screen.
Yeah, Rajiv, I think what we will do is we'll also ask people if they have any questions, they can put it in the chat box. You can do that.
Sure, sure. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
No issues on that. No issues on that. All right, let's start in this slide. All right. Great. So all of you can see my screen now?
Yes, Rajiv.
Perfect. So, the startup journey is very interesting, by the way. In my lifetime, I would say that I have rolled out at least 30 to 40 products, and working with a startup, working with the big corporates in Singapore, US, South Africa. But journey has its own nuances. With the startup, the things are a little different than what the corporate world is all about. So, but I said there are certain concepts which we must go through in order to make our product a successful product. So the fundamentals remain the same, by the way. So product conceptualization, I thought we should talk about it. I mean, we have some idea in the mind. Am I going to implement it properly? How do I implement? And even the, VCs look into your implementation plan. Idea may be brilliant, but the implementation may be very poor. And if it is poor, your product is gone for a toss. And it struggles, not robust in nature, it is unstable, not scalable, and you'll end up into a lot of issues. Technical feasibility, we have large number of ideas. आजकल बहुत ideas है, a lot of ideas are coming into the play. How do I create MVP? Once MVP is created, my half of my journey is won. It's a very challenging job. I was referring to one of the posts by Murli, in which he has talked about MVP. So I was saying, well, this is a good time for me to stress the very interesting article, and there is jumps. There is a one straight linear line being drawn to the maturity, and then there's a flat line which keeps and the MVP is going between POC and the ground level, POC and this thing. So it is never a small one time process. It's an iterative process. We are going to talk about it. How do I create MVP? Do I chop off the features? Like, for example, I have to make n number of features. I say n by 2, I'll create in MVP, and then n by 2, I'll roll it out later. It doesn't work out like that. It has to be a process. It has to be a structure. It has to be a strategy, because we want to succeed. We don't get too many chances in the life. Everybody wants to be like Google or, Facebook or whatever, so we have to have a strategy. Lead generation, very, very important. Make a product, don't sell it in the market, you're going to be nowhere actually. And of course, sales funnel management. You have to follow your sales funnel, monitor it very closely to ensure that all your sales leads are captured, addressed in time, and also where to address, put your energy, because startup don't have too much of energy with them, don't have too much of resources with them, not sorry, energy, the resources are not there. So we need to channel them very properly. This is a very simple diagram, idea creation, the bulb lights up in your mind. Oh, I need to do this. It may be my gut feeling, but well, do the gut feelings work? We'll see. Then there are certain technology input. Oh, idea is very brilliant. Then the people come to me. See, I have designed at least 15, 20 MVPs with various startups in US, South Africa, and the thing. Oh, this is idea. मुझे बहुत अच्छा idea लगा है. But is it implementable? Is it something which can be achieved with the present technology stack? Or do I need to do something else? Do I have the manpower available to do that? And what are the nuances which I need to look into? Very important to do the technical feasibility. And of course, a lot of discussion, brainstorming, etc., before we roll out a product. It has to be a brainstorming. One has to go to, I say it's a war room. Go to the war room, fight it out. Well, this is what I want. And when you come out of the room, you are nowhere, I mean, you're all friends. So that's how it should be. Well, there are certain statistics and the research which has been done. There are three gentlemen called Booz, Allen, and Hamilton. I read their research paper. And out of that, I've brought out certain things that out of 7 ideas, only one sees the light of the day. That's a fact of the life. Why does it happen? We'll see that. Failure rate is about 25 to 40%. Again, research by Cooper. Why? What is the reason? I mean, there are so many things which are innovative in nature. We can do innovative. Despite of all that, we still fail. The question is your idea just a simple hypothesis in your mind, which is not well proven, and you want to just go about it? You want to pursue it because of your own passion and own your emotions on this? It doesn't work out. So it may be because I'm very good at doing something. मुझे अच्छा लगता है करना. But does the market need it? That's the thing which we need to ask ourselves. If the idea is bad, the first step itself is wrong. No matter what you do, you are going to be in a big soup. So I say, keep on saying, guys, let's have a framework. Let's have a methodology. No matter you may be small, you may be 2 people, 3 people. As Aristotle said, there's no shortcut to learning. Never ever the learning will be short. Do follow a framework, do metrics, appropriate metrics at every stage, do some measurements to see the health of the product, to see the health of the market, to see the health of your sales. If you don't do that, you are again going to mess up everywhere. So there are tools and techniques available. We'll talk about that. So again, part of the research paper, they said, again, I'm quoting them, Booz, Allen, and Hamilton. Initial idea needs to be evaluated. Zaruri, very important, developed, tested, and launched in the market. In fact, because of paucity of time, in fact, I wanted to cover the entire product. Tomorrow, if you guys get $2 million of funding, you're going to say back, oh, how do I design my product? Out of it, 30% is going into the, say, for example, product development. Am I going to launch a product following certain methodology, agile methodology, waterfall methodology, scrum mastering, all that stuff also I wanted to cover, but unfortunately, I will not be able to cover, which we can discuss offline. As the idea evolves and takes a shape, then you have to basically, after that, you have to start the development. And I'm today going to talk about the entire process using a BAH model, Boole, Allen, and Hamilton model. Of course, this was evolved by them. It has become now kind of a practice in most of the organization. They may not be calling by the BAH model, but this is how it evolved in the beginning, actually. So again, last thing I would like to say, MVP differs from organization to organization. And I'm going to speak more on this because every startup has a dream. मुझे MVP बनाना है. I have to come out with the MVP. In order to come out with the MVP, I need some funding. Have I gone through the proper, have I taken everything into consideration is a challenge which we need to discuss, today. Well, this is the framework I was talking about. If I follow certain step, I may still fail. I'm not saying that will always be. I say some element is always dynamic in nature. You may call it a luck. You may call it a external factors, government policies, etc., which are beyond your control. But this process is very important. I starting the new product strategy. Strategy is something which is very, very important. You may be in the 3rd year of your college, or you may be having industry experience of 5 years. two colleagues from IIT or one from IIT and BITS Pilani or from any other engineering college, they think, "Arey, this is a very good problem to solve." Because last 5 years working in my company, I found a lot of suppliers, customers have been talking about it. But that's a very micro view of the entire thing. So there has to be a proper strategy worked out, at least some time has to be given. What I'm trying to achieve, what are my broad level objectives? Then of course comes the idea generation. I'll talk more on this, not want to speak again and again on the same topic. Idea has to be screened and evaluated. This is where I think we go wrong somewhere. We don't spend time in screening the ideas. In fact, again, there was one post in the group I was going through in which it was said that generally 40 to 45% startups fail because there is no real market need. Because somebody said, "Very problem solve kar do," but that was not the actual problem which was existing in the market. This is what not the customer were looking forward to. This is what not the whole market was all about, and we still kept on chasing that. So screening and evaluation is very important. This business, once that is done, this business analysis, then of course come our old traditional method which BH talks about, design and development. Very important. When you make a house, don't design a house, your roof is going to collapse, right? That's what we engage a good architect. When you make a house, building, make a drawing. So you do design and development. After you get a good funding, good luck to you. Design a product. Today you're selling to 5,000 customers. I keep on saying, whenever I design MVP, I say I'll charge you extra. But please understand, I want to make your product more scalable and robust in nature, because today there are only 5,000 subscribers or 50 subscribers or 500 subscribers. Tomorrow, it could be 50,000, 5.5 million, 5 million. Then your product should not be revamped totally. It should be scalable in nature. Testing and commercialization. So if we follow this hierarchy, I think something will certain we are going to the success story, build a success story actually. Product strategy, again, we're going to talk about what are the startup goals, which are ROI. When I'm going to recoup my entire investment, when I'm going to break even, these are the metrics which we'll talk in the next slide. Again, what is going to be my marketing strategy? Which market am I going to address? I'm going to address this market and there's no need which is existing in the market, and I'm going on and on and on. It doesn't make sense. Then very important, today you may not realize, what technology stack am I going to use? I have seen myself post-COVID, things have become totally different. Today I can see, I get very surprised that IT shares are falling. Every day you see the Sensex, the IT shares are falling, but technology people are getting very expensive. I know 5 years back and today the story is totally different. Technology stack is also very important. You are going to go for the freeware, and again for the freeware, which are the technologies which are going to be easily available. If you're in Bengaluru, things are relatively easy, but cost matters actually. Communication is very important among your co-founders, again to your team members, not only with the team member, the external communication, which we're going to talk about. So I keep on telling every startup, the success mantra is strategy hona chahiye. Strategy is very important. Plus idea generation and filtration and sales. If you fall short in any one of them, then possibly you might derail yourself. I'll give you a small anecdote or whatever you may call it, small story. There was a gentleman who was driving the car. His car conked off on the way, and obviously he has to call the mechanic. He called the mechanic. Mechanic came, and what he did, he just looked into the car. After 3-4 minutes or 5 minutes, he applied a hammer, and his car started running. The gentleman said, "How much should I pay you for this?" He said, $500. He got astonished. "Why should I pay $500? He said, "You just applied a hammer." He said, "Look, 400 rupees for where I have to apply the hammer, and $100 for applying the hammer. So where to apply the hammer is the strategy. If I can give the small analogy here, and just applying a hammer is simple, So I think strategy is very, very important. We shouldn't ignore it. Whether it was Larry and Serge when they were in the college, Stanford University, I know their story because Rajiv Motwani, who was one of their professors, I know through him, through somebody, they really used to have a lot of brainstorming. Will the web search work? How should it go about? What should be the format? What will be the challenges, etc., etc. And then they launched the product, and rest all is history. So I would say the organization having a product strategy have better 32% higher success rate, which I've seen myself when I back this particular figure as well. So very important to have product strategy, metrics, जैसे कि ROI, acquiring new markets, customers to increase valuation. No matter you may not be very profitable. Amazon was not. I studied the complete case history of Amazon. It wasn't profitable for 10, 15 years, but it was acquiring business. That's a whole game plan has changed. Old traditional way of evaluating your client organizations had gone where they used to see your balance sheet and things like that. Today, they are seeing how much customers have you acquired. Very good example is WhatsApp, acquired by Facebook in $19 billion. People were very surprised. But look at the customer base. It has millions of customers doing millions of transactions every day. And it was valuation of about $19 billion. So I think it's very, very important how you go about acquiring new customers. Every quarter you should have how much is your target, how much have you added, and so on and so forth. We need to measure it very accurately. And of course, and the communication is very important, who are your target customers, etc. And you have to define for each stage the time frame. Very important, in this quarter, by this first quarter, I will achieve this, second quarter, I will achieve this, third quarter. No matter, there could be challenges. There could be, you may fall short, doesn't matter. But at least you're measuring where you're going wrong, rather than just going on and without measuring. Oh, and then after 6 months, you wake up and say, hey, I should have done this. No, it has to be driven on a proper, in a periodic fashion. So I think, again, I have highlighted in different colors, we have to define objectives for idea generation. Ideas may be brilliant, but it not match with my product strategy. Very important. And then the screening criteria. The screening idea generation will talk about the different ways of generating. Where should the idea come from? Should it come from the R&D department? Should it come from the marketing department? Should it come from the hobbyist group? Should it come from the idea retreats, etc., etc.? We'll discuss. There are several ways, and we'll see where exactly. Some research has gone in that direction of doing what we call the idea generation. And if that phase we follow it very rigorously and properly, may not be if I don't have at least I followed 60 to 70% of it, then possibly my idea is vetted and I'm going to get funding in due course of time. Screening is very important. First, the number of ideas out of which you may, okay, I'm not low, medium, I will see that. And then obviously you do the last step is business analysis. So ideas turn into the product. MVP, POC, we'll discuss about it. Where do I stop? What is MVP? What is POC? And something when I'm done with the complete idea thing, then I need to follow the product development process to make it a success. And research says that those which have a well-defined processes, they are going to more succeed very successfully. Coming to the idea generation, nurturing ideas on the basis of the product strategy is the first step. There are two theories which I wanted to talk about here. And of course, then I'm going to relate it what generally the people do it in the market. Very important to start from the basic fundamentals first. First method is for generating ideas is by Professor Eric von Hippel from MIT. He advocated the story of or the theory of lead user methodology. Now, lead users, who are the lead users, by the way? Who are the lead users? Those who are close to the market, those who are ahead of the masses. What they are doing today, they have realized the lead 1 year, 2 years in advance, and what the masses will realize it. They have been working on this for a long time, may not be long time, at least they are deep into it, basically. These are the people they understand needs and solutions very clearly. And if there's no need, no product, and this and it's without need, if you're floating a product, this is a recipe for disaster. That's what I keep on saying. As I said, 43% of the startup failed. They launched the product very nicely because on your gut feeling, but they failed because there was no real market need. So therefore, lead users play a very important role in ensuring that you succeed. So the aim of this methodology is that it's basically it follows the approach of open innovation to develop products which are close to the market, customer oriented, and geared to the user. So basically, we have to interact with large number of leaders. You have to identify them and thereafter engage with them in different format, formal or informal. Second approach is called ethnographic approach. You talk to, generally we all do that. We all do that. Nomenclature doesn't matter. We do it formally, informally. We go to the people. Oh, I spoke to this company. I spoke to the top management. I spoke to middle management. I talk to workers. Workers, people generally try to avoid, which I say we should talk to all levels of the company, because at every level you'll get certain inputs. And by the way, my own experience tells me that once you speak to the people who are really actually performing the job, they give you the real input and the pain areas which need to be solved. And this is where I think you can apply your innovation. So I recommend that follow the combined approach. Talk to the lead users, get the top of the curve, what exactly is to be solved, and then you talk to the various, have some interviews with the customers. We'll talk about that more in details. So there's a very common observation based on certain study. The high level of success is achieved for those, which is very logical as well, from the people from marketing and customers compared to people sitting in the R&D labs, suppliers and management. Management had its own vision. It's fine. I mean, we need to sort of take it with that perspective only. But as I said, there are people at different levels. You talk to people, those who really perform, they say, oh, well, this is a problem which I've been trying to solve. I've tried 10 products, but I'm not able to solve this problem. Can you help me in this? These kind of inputs are going to come from the bottom of the pyramid, not from the top of the pyramid. So I think the success mantra again is to get the proper leads, is to leads is basically having an idea, is to have a combined approach. So what is a matrix? How do I, again, coming to the matrix part, which I didn't discuss so far. Matrix for the idea generation is, again, I'll start from does it align with my corporate strategy? The markets, which market I'm addressing? Where does it need a cloud CRM? Does it need a solution which I am going to design? Something that needs to be taken, looked into. Number of ideas, have large number of ideas. Don't feel shy. Don't feel miser about the ideas and value of the ideas. So ideas again has to be basically, some of them could be low. You can prioritize based on your priorities and based on your evaluation of those ideas at your level first. Low, medium, high quality. So define them, spend some time. Maybe you can use Excel sheet or any other tool. Some of the ideas may be great, but they may not be directly applicable in your case, but still make a note of it. Actually, if they may be indirectly used, maybe it requires third-party integration in your solution, which may be required. Today you're talking about CRM, but tomorrow you might have to integrate with your website. I mean, that's something which you may ignore it today, but it may be required actually. Ideas may be coming if you're interacting with, I know there was a company called Rival Nation, not the company, the project called Rival Nation. They were interacting with a lot of universities, Stanford universities and group of universities. They came together and they were brainstorming on the idea. So it can come from the universities, labs, hobbyist group, as I said. There are certain customers which are dissatisfied. Don't leave them. Or if you're doing it for the very first time, talk to the prospective customers, okay? Suppliers, etc. Talk to everything, and if possible, if you can organize certain idea fairs and get the right people, as I said, the lead group of people, they would be welcoming to we give you good ideas. So I keep on saying, more formal the event, more people are accountable. They become a part of the decision process. Involve them. This is a very important exercise to be done before you take a final call on your idea. So more ideas come, richer becomes your database, richer becomes your vision as to these are the real needs in the market. And this is something which is close to my vision. This is something close to my corporate vision. And I must pursue and put in my resources and so on and so forth. Right? So ideas have come now. Now what we need to do the next step as screening the ideas. Okay. So it's a basic product strategy, resources and competition. Very important when the ideas come, you also do a bit of it. Of course, it is very important to understand your competitor landscape. Come out with something which is differentiating what they have not been doing so far, and what is the value associated, what is the cost associated with them. Will that be a hot cake? I don't know. Sometimes some feature we think will be a hot cake, doesn't matter to be hot cake. When I talk to various founders, they say, we never thought this will become Misho. I mean, started from IT Delhi guys. So I will talk about them sometime later. I was talking to the founders and they said, well, we never thought WhatsApp sales will become such a big event. It became such a big event. Everybody was talking about selling to the website. They do all their transaction to the WhatsApp only. So I mean, you have to really see the competition and take your call accordingly. Try to be different. Try to be squeezing the competition to the extent possible. Okay. Multiple levels of screening has to be done. Once you have done your all screening, talking to the lead users, talking to your customers, dissatisfied customer or prospective customers, etc. Final call you can take possibly the top management or maybe the founders can themselves sit together. They have their own vision and they talk about, well, this is where we need to go about. This is where we need to put our resources and my money and whatever funding which I have got so far. After screening is done, you have crossed two hurdles. First is idea generation. Second is idea screening. You have won half the battle now. Now the story starts here. It doesn't end here. I put a word called BI because I know in Japanese startup, they call it business investigation stage. When I work with a Japanese customer, they say, well, now the idea is there. I need to go a little deeper. They're always detail oriented, actually. So once I start detailing out my idea, which was one pager idea or maybe few sentences idea, then it becomes 10 pager document. Then you realize, oh my goodness, these are the things which I never thought of it. These are the challenges which I didn't think of it. So I think please do spend some time doing business analysis or called as business investigation and make out your close to SRS software required. I don't say make a 60-page document, at least make 5-pager document. Bhai. Agar time nahi hai, to at least 5-page ka document banao. I have keep on telling startup and they come back to me. Initially, they are reluctant. And after that, oh, yeah, we never thought of this. These are the challenges. Oh, we need to address. Should we pursue this or not? Should we change this thing? Let's go back to the users and do, if is it possible to distribute, because current strategy doesn't allow us to do that. So this is very important to do. And please don't follow any shortcuts here. Well, this is something related to the finance. I will not spend too much time. Finance is the core of the business. I don't the net present value, IRR, and I think you would have had so many sessions. I was in a part of one of the session where a lot of finance was being talked. Now this is a wheel. You can see very interesting picture I could figure out, and I said this is a picture I should put to give to tell. Now you are rolling up, going up the ladder. Creation of SRS, creation of HLD, well, LLD, if it is today, people don't talk about it. So I don't, but I've just listed it out. We can discuss offline. Anybody wants to get more deeper into this. Of course, coding phase, testing, unit testing, black box testing, automated testing, user acceptance testing. Of course, it is very initial stage. I know being very more practical when you are launching and you are getting to the MVP. At that time, you would not have too much of time doing automated testing. It doesn't make sense. I've just put it across. So it has to be customized. It has to be basically following agile methodology, doing simple black box testing, and maybe having group of so-called QA guys I mean, you can do internal testing through some external agency and make sure your product doesn't have too many bugs also, because buggy product creates a very bad impression when it goes to the market, So all that phase we need to follow. So I think before I go to the lead generation, another thing I would like to say, spend some time on the MVP. So MVP is basically everybody talks about it. I want to spend some time here saying, please remember few guidelines. Number one, don't try to come out with the features on your own and say, oh, I need to develop this feature. This will take, let's say, 200 man days. Oh, I can't wait for 200, let's say 200 man days, 22 by 5. Okay. 200 man days will be close to 10 months or 11 months of rollout of the product. Oh, I need to wait for 10 months. It's going to be too long. We shouldn't. This is such a long cycle. So what I do is I chop off my feature. I first do 100 man days and 100 man days. 100 man days could be close to 4 to 5 months. But let's not do this way. It has to be a process. As I said, initially when you generate it, please make a note of what I'm saying. When you generated the idea, you went to so many stakeholders. You did such a hard work, presuming you did such a hard work. And you came out to that idea which is in real need of the market. And of course, market is dynamically changing. So this is why about 15 years back, there came agile processes into the play. Sara product banane ka zarurat nahi hai. You go in different phases, and go back. I again get reminded what Murli has said, back and forth between the line. So you go with the agile methodology where you have 3 week sprint. 3 week mein banao. Then you come out with certain features. So you go for 3-4 sprint, 2-3 sprint, which is 1.5 to 2 months. Test out your product and go back to lead users. And hey, this is what I've done. Have I gone the thing in the right direction? Possibly there was some misunderstanding, misinterpretation, wrong assumptions. We make a lot of wrong assumptions, by the way, that lead to the disaster. Assumptions are very disastrous. Don't assume anything. So once you go to that, your assumptions will also be vetted. Your marketing strategy will also be vetted. Again, you made certain assumptions there, So all that stuff has to be vetted at a regular interval. So again, this has to be, if I draw a curve, a straight line has to be back and forth, and then it will shoot up to the maturity. That is something which you need to do. So it's a process. It's not chopping off the features. So please remember that this is something which you need to bear when we go to, and keep on after 1.5 to 2 months, you go back to the stakeholders, again, take their feedback, go back, and I say 3-4 iterations, your product should be finalized. All right, guys, we got a wonderful product now. What do we do? See, I keep on saying Microsoft never became very strong just because of their product. They became, the Bill Gates was a very good marketeer as well. This is where he leaves Steve Jobs behind when I'm talking about the initial Apple story, and became launched became a big company, Microsoft, So I think we need to have something called sales process management, need to generate leads. Everybody's on leads banana. How do we do about it? I mean, do I follow certain tools? What do we, social media? Do I do traditional way, cold calling? So I'm talking about everything, leads, communication, groups, networking. Networking is very important. Social media, your own circle, friends, they will give you some tips, and you can keep on getting those referrals and keep meeting those people as well. But let's talk about some traditional ways. Inside sales lead generation technique, I would talk about the traditional. Please, all of you know, I know about it, that, but I would like to relate it to my experience. I don't want to make it a theory session. SEO about 2005. I was in Rapids. Rapids was the vice president, product and BDG, business development group. We used to get 5 leads every day through the SEO. And this is how the company started with 30 people and became close to 200 in about year's time, 1.5 years times. So SEO is again, I have seen, but today I'm sorry, 2005. Today we are sitting in 2022. There was no social media marketing. So I'm saying SEO is a very organic way of growing your business. Of course, there's a team which has to be formed, or you today now at that time, there were not too many digital agencies, but now there are so many digital agencies at a very competitive rates. You want to make your own team, you can make your own team as well. Similarly, cold calling is again, I mean, some people don't like it, but I say still you can do so. Email campaigns are very important, blogging and networking and so on. Webinars is very, very important. The research says about 43 marketeers in the SaaS companies, they use 43% of the marketeers would like to go for the webinars, educating their clients and making them understand, being selfless to make selfish, to create the selfish objective. That's what I keep saying. It's just small statistics. It's my own experience, which I've been narrating. I mean, LinkedIn is more powerful as compared to the other one. Twitter, I call it a negative kind of a thing as far as I'm concerned. Facebook is also good. It has you can launch your advertisements and so on. And but LinkedIn definitely to me is a more serious network, having more corporate connections. And you can also do direct cold calls. When I say direct cold calls, here slightly confusing. Please don't take it with the traditional calls. There's something, the tool they're called Sales Navigator. उसमें आप you can do the target marketing. Basically it gives you what kind of size of the company you're targeting at, what is the industry vertical you are targeting at, what designation you are targeting at, and you just try the filter and it gives you everything, and you just click them, make your leads and start following your process. So I think LinkedIn has got, and Sales Navigator is a great product. I mean, you have used and got some very good results out of it. So we'll see more on it actually as you go. So cold calling versus email. Cold calling, I see many people don't like it, cold calling. I've seen maybe now things have changed. At least I'm talking about 5-6 groups year later. Well, there is a throughput is in the sense people say you have to hire people. They keep on calling, but people generally have very at a top level like CXO levels. They don't have time. And people keep on repeating their old stories. Oh, I have got this, and they keep on making very hard sales. So please, I like some things. This is not for a business proposition. I'll tell you what not to do in that. We'll discuss in the next slide. Cold calling is traditional, but very important, I would say. Similarly, email campaigns. Again, a very important part of a sale. Don't ignore it. You can send newsletters, mass mailing. There are large number of tools which are available now. You don't have to switch out from X tool to the Y tool. There are integrated tools available. I'll show the video for some time. I like to play that video, Process of marketing any product and services directly through emails is again not very, but one should also go for it. Actually, what you should not do in the cold calling. I remember in 2008, I was trying to contact a lot of CXOs through some sales representative, and 3 months there was nothing. I said, what's going wrong? And I saw their pitch, totally trying to say, well, not even understanding what the customer, not even understanding going to the website even, what they are into, and suddenly saying, hey, this is what we offer, this is what the price is, etc., etc. People don't have time to listen to all these stories. They keep on getting so many calls. You have to problem solver. You have to understand their pain areas. So please understand, listen and interpret. Do your homework. So what I did was I was sharing, I made a small script for every sales representative based on what verticals they were addressing. And then I found that people started showing some interest in that. So the key is that listen and interpret, don't sell. Inform and educate, don't sell. Involve and coordinate, don't sell. Keep in touch. So you have less time, you have gone through their website, they are into, let's say, hardcore steel business. They have a process in steel management. The steel goes to, I'm just random example I'm taking. It goes through 5 steps in the steel manufacturing industry, and they don't have anything to track and tell their customer. So you go through that, and then you come out and do is, oh, well, I have some tracking mechanism in the manufacturing industry, and you make your pitch accordingly, explain them as if you're trying to solve their problem. So I think this is something would help you connect to the relevant people, and you can pursue it further. Similarly here, when you're sending an email, very simple subject line. I mean, I'm just saying, send it across in the midnight. It's up to you how you are engaging on the weekend. People have some uh, spare time. Otherwise, in the office time, and people don't even open those mails. They've got so much of pressure. Even I remember when in my corporate career, when the emails will come, I forget about it. It's very too messy at this time. I need to address this issue. I need to address this problem, etc. You don't even open the emails. So better, I mean, it's just my experiences. Send emails on the weekends, re-engage with the inactive users, try to follow the strategies, keep it very simple, and also give some, in this I want to give some freebies. When you give some have CTA, today's world is very, very so-called objective in nature. You don't have to talk so many things. Give CTA, click to action. Acha, abhi niche click karo, like many companies like LinkedIn does it, HubSpot does it, and say, click for 14 days free trial. I mean, people get excited, they would not go through everything what you written, but at least they will be tempted to make a click on that. Small things like that can make a difference. So, I mean, software companies, I mean, today in IIT startup group, there are varied groups. There are retail group companies, there are software companies. I said I must put this slide. Software companies' strategy would be different from the retail companies' strategy. Basically, the cold calling may be very suitable for the software companies, email marketing, webinars, we have discussed, conference. Go to the conferences, attend events. I mean, if possible, be a speaker there and people come to you. I mean, if you can choose a relevant topic, share your experiences. These are very good platforms to showcase your abilities and success stories. Of course, SEO, I don't want to repeat again and again. This has been a success story for me. So I just, it's my favorite subject. And if you go to the retail, these are promotional, 20% discount, 30% discount, face-to-face meeting, advertisement, offline, online, both. But again, in the software companies, also you do Google ads. But in offline also makes it, getting leads from the customer surveys, distributors, dealers. So all that is a different. You have to, if you are going for a product like we have like maybe a tankless solar heater, something like that. I'm saying you might have to talk to various distributors, dealers, and talk to them, understand what the market is all about. They'll give you a lot of leads. They know they have been dealing with such similar products, and then you can sort of have engage with them and so on and so forth. And of course, last but not the least, do apply. In fact, in the CRM, there's a very good book by Daishe and Daishe. I used to, as a professor in one marketing institute, I taught CRM. And I know loyalty management is a very big discipline in CRM. And we should not forget about it. And that's what everybody retail counts. You go to Shopper Stop or anywhere, they have got a very well-defined loyalty schemes now. You keep on having some loyalties or other. And there are loyalty specialists. Depending on your need, they can help you out in developing a good loyalty program for you. I get reminded of Devika. She said, well, software is intense, sales cycle is long. Yes, very true. If more the complex the product is, it will go through various channels, various due diligence processes, and it takes time. Retail products are dikta hai, tangible hai. So sales cycle is not too long. So we should remember, and accordingly, we should try to pitch our success, our story, and keep on building stories around it. Now, first of all, very important to create awareness. I mean, that you can do through the email campaigns or whatever, through cold calling. And from awareness, you go to the next level of generating interest and then involving them. So this becomes a software selling becomes a long cycle, starting from engaging at different levels. Social media, online tools, we talk, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, we talked about it. Let's talk a little more on social media pros and cons. I mean, it is free. I mean, you can engage with the customers. You can do various things. You can search groups, join groups, posts regular. And if you're a part of the LinkedIn, which I like, a part of the groups which are relevant to you, before joining a group, you do your search group. When you do go to the LinkedIn, you do search, and then you say let's say IT outsourcing. I'm taking a random keyword. I mean, you can take anything depending on your choice. And then you'll see, you can choose a relevant group. And then you can see in the group also how many members, what is the demographic distribution. Go to some little higher level and then see if it matches your objective, join them. And then become very active in a part of the discussions and start doing the relationship, making relationship. And afterwards, take your relationship share. I say not the wallet share today, everybody talks about the relationship share now. So anyway, it's a free tool, helps increasing your traffic. We'll just cover a small case study, by the way. The time is 11. Oh my goodness, I need to rush up. All right, so greater access to international market. That's a big thing. Social media is very influential platform. People come there, spend good amount of time. People have their official pages, and that's what people want to engage in. Cons may like you need it's better. Now there are social media marketing SMM programs done by the professional companies. You can take education from them. You can involve them if you wish to. If you don't have enough bandwidth with yourself, but do consult a specialist and remember that this small risk management factor when you talk about the social media marketing, which we should understand. I remember one tweet by Amitabh Bachchan, who is a great Bollywood star, on about Vodafone, where he said, "Oh, my connection had problem." He just narrated, and you can understand. Amitabh Bachchan had so many followers. Everybody started talking about that problem, the Twitter, and Twitter guys had a tough time handling them. The company had a tough time handling them. So there has to be, you have to use the things very carefully. Your content have to be properly given so that it doesn't become unnecessarily bullying and harassment to you. That's the only thing I would like to say. Have a clear marketing strategy. Otherwise, I think it's a wonderful platform. Social media can do wonders. We have seen many times, and I can't speak more than that on that. It's viral in nature. Well, LinkedIn is close to my heart. I said that's the reason. One is the group discussion participation I've talked about. Third one I didn't mention, the sales navigator. Wonderful tool. Group in-mail marketing, I mean, if you are a premium customer, you get the in-mail marketing. You can do in-mail marketing as well. You can send email to anybody, even if he or she is not a connection. Already I've talked about it. Join the proper group, look for the relevant discussion, participate. Audience के साथ बात करो, build relationship, and slowly say, hey, you are looking for this thing. I got a solution. Would you like to have a look at something? And of course, that's the real need. You have already seen over a period of time. You are most likely to close that as compared to just doing something in the dark. So this is why I keep adding the slides in many of my presentation and say you need to follow this process. And STP, segmentation, targeting, and has to be done, and positioning is to be followed. Just an example here. Simple. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Who you are? Who are you? Mention how you are connected. Purpose of a connection. Say, as a member of this is. I wanted to introduce myself and wanted to connect with area profession as we have some areas of interest. Just very simple on what you have been gauging for some time, and give a very crisp mail, and most likely they are going to understand and come back to you, and then start your engagement process with them. I want to talk about small case study here. SaaS, it's a very interesting. Software as a service was a big paradigm shift. I remember about 15 years back or 20 years back, I mean, small companies had a big challenge because license cost was so very high. Please understand how it got originated. I say India became a software hub or a power, not just because of strategy, just because of Y2K. Because I remember those days we used to get 4 proposals a day we used to send. Similarly, we should understand why SaaS became so very popular. Kuch reason to hoga. I mean, big companies, everybody wants to do sales. Everybody wants to buy a CRM. CRM is costing you 50,000 US dollars. Who's going to pay for it? There came a company called Salesforce. Oh, don't worry, guys. You don't have to worry about it. Sign a security agreement with us. We'll make sure your data is protected under various sections. And you can do all your lead generation. Have your 5 sales guys. Pay me, let's say, $5 per month per subscriber, and you're on to it. Isn't it a paradigm shift? I mean, I'm using a software, tracking software. I'm using a service. for which I don't have to pay anything. Similarly, AWS and all this cloud-based software like AWS. I remember those days when people used to invest in solar, Unix systems, they sun systems, and they were so expensive. I mean, big companies could afford it. Today, AWS said, Amazon said, don't worry, you don't have to do anything. Just come on cloud. Once you're in cloud, you buy the service, you take a large instance, medium instance, and then pay a few dollars per month, and you can keep on scaling it up as the need arises. These are very game-changing plans. So I think this became a revolutionary in nature. So this is something which I'm talking about. Let me not spend too much time here. There was a study carried out by Gartner. It's an older study, so I'm still put it across. 20 billion say market will grow to 33 billion in 2016. Older story, sorry guys. CAGR of 19.5%. And the fact of the matter is, at that time, I also saw 72% of the SaaS companies got thoda funding to mila. Partial funding, but they got some funding, right? Because it was a game changer plan. Small company, many SMEs, which form a big segment, were looking for such solutions actually. But this was a good news, bad news. When you start looking, there's opportunity, people start getting into that space, and then you got to be very distinct, providing distinguished services. So this is where the challenge came. It became very competitive in nature because everybody started getting on that. So what could be done for the greater companies? So I'm just sharing one company which I really liked and I thought I should discuss. This is a company which is on giving CRM solution. As I said, they were giving something on lead generation process, and that Salesforce was on Salesforce automation. There's a difference between the two. The company was founded in 1999, simple on SaaS model, and they raised a funding of $110 million under the brand name of CRM. And again, in 2000, see their journey. In 6 years, they got a funding, and 2004 to 2015, they got valued at a capitalization of $50 billion. What a story it is. And what did they do? Something related to digital marketing, something related to what customer are looking forward to, what the content is all about. Let me go to this next slide. What was we were talking the business objective of the company. I told you product strategy was to increase traffic and get more leads in the UK. They knew hame UK ka market. They were in US company, but they wanted to go to the UK market. They saw a huge potential business opportunity, and this is what they targeted based on your market research. So they wanted to increase their revenue in that market, increasing traffic on their website and generating more leads. That was the whole objective of this particular company. And this is why when the objective is clear, you can have your smooth journey and deploy the resources accordingly. What did they do actually? So they found out after the market research that 78% of the users conducted, which is a fact of the matter, and SEO is also based on that only. Otherwise, SEO wouldn't have been so very popular because 78% of the internal users, they conduct their product research online. ये खरीदना है, वो खरीदना है, comparative study, this, who's a competitor, what are the prices, etc., etc. Okay, and once they say anything, IT outsourcing, I want to have, let's say, buy something, a Samsung phone or something mobile phone or a smartphone, you'll find there's certain listings which come as an ad, certain things which come on its own. So people give more weightage to something which is organic in nature. So they also did your marketing search and found out 78% of the content was product search was through this thing. So they said now what we should do. They're having a different services actually. And their product had different services. They said, now we need to have more education to the people. We should educate them more, basically on what we are trying to achieve. And what is the best way to do it? To create content. When you go for SEO, content is the king. There's a very simple line, create content. And of course, Google keeps on changing its strategy. Content, aaj ki tarikh mein bhi, and earlier also used to be the distinguishing factor. You want to be listed as a top company, top 5. And when I was in RapidSoft, we used to say hamara services should be in the top 5. And of course, you keep on launching different services in different nations and keep on launching your microsites. Anyway, we'll come to that. So the role of this content writers was to create a unique content in different areas, and they were collaborating with each other to make sure there's no overlap, strategies are clear, and things like that. So they majorly focused on content and content and content. And what was the story? They kept on launching microsites with relevant features for the relevant markets, which you can launch for a specific market. You can set up your CDN accordingly on the AWS and just keep on enhancing it in due course of time. And people can start this search and they keep on getting the leads and so on and so forth. Promote it to Facebook, Twitter, emails, etc. LinkedIn banner ads and all. Google ad is also very important because they have relevant database with them. So they covered 32 topics. Now you see what was the story. They achieve 80% more traffic on their website, which is great. Traffic means more. Maybe let's say 30% of the 80% were not serious users, but at least this is a huge traffic jump. And social media went up by 2,500%. And what it resulted in what? 6,500 new signups. Always you have to sign up. Of course, everybody has a sign up as a CTA, and 10,000 new leads. So this is just an example I wanted to tell you that never ever ignore the digital marketing strategy and whatever stuff you're, depending on what you're selling, as I said. And this really helps you achieve what you're trying to achieve to increase your sales, boost up your sales and so on. Learnings. So digital marketing, social media, what it can do, and your strategy has to be correct. I don't say whatever applies to some company will apply to the other. No, sir, it doesn't apply like that. You have to do brainstorming. You have to understand the nature of the business, what people do online, what are the activities, the nature of the markets. It may even in North America, from one state to the other state, the things may change depending on their geography, psychography, and so on. So all that has to be kept into mind before. You can't say, oh, they are doing this, I will replicate this model. That is not going to work out. Digital marketing has a wide reach and can be utilized for the benefit of the enterprises, and the desired results can be achieved. So I think I've covered most of it, I would say, but I would like to say something that once you are a startup company, I'm just summarizing, you got limited resources. You can't spend too much on digital marketing. Maybe that could be one of the constraints which you have. You may not be able to invest in paid CRM, etc., etc. I'll give you a small solution for that, running small video for you. So I think few of the things I've already covered. Funnels. So I'll jump very quickly now. Just, oh, sorry, fair enough. I think there are certain tools. One of them is HubSpot. I'll run a small, I have used this tool myself. This is a very good CRM tool, and it helps you track your funnel very nicely, gives you prediction. There's an AI algorithm inbuilt to this. So one is prospecting, qualifying. These are different stages of a funnel. You can change it, you can customize it. फिर आप presentations करते हो, then you make submit proposal, फिर close, and then you monitor results and so on. It's a traditional. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stages. 5 stages. There could be 6 stages. So you can. CRM tools are very flexible. Every company has its own process. Some may also have, before making presentation, having a video call or something like that. So you can introduce those processes in your sales funnel and measure where you are, which stage you are. Are you in the same stage for a long time? So let's talk about that, and then I close this. I think there are certain killers based on the study which has been carried out in the sales funnel, which I thought I should talk about it. One killer is age in the stage. Please remember that. Stall deal convert at much lower rate. Some deal is stuck up at a particular stage and beyond a limit that you have to see. When you say stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, it is at a stage 1 for at least, let's say, 2 months. Then you get some kind of a signal in your mind that it may not be worth pursuing this for long. But you don't just take it off, but at least you flag it at risk signal, flag there. Some of the sales pipeline I've seen, they move very non-linear in nature. Suddenly the call will come, acha bhi chahiye. Then 2 months, 3 months, oh, where were you? Oh, no, 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 I had some problem and this and that. And then suddenly they'll come and disappear. I've seen such sales are very risky sales. They really make your life very tough, actually. Suddenly the client disappears. So I think you have to see where there's a linear growth. Please focus more on them. And because you got very limited resources with you, you want to have some sales and maybe go for a next round of funding or whatever, So focus your energy in that direction and don't go try to give less importance. Sometimes you come in the morning, why this is not happening? You keep on chasing, waste your half a day on that. It's not worth it, actually. Opportunity size dictates a lot about it and how likely your reps are going to close it. And focus on obviously those deal sizes which are higher in deal value, as compared to your average deal size, and give a little more focus, energy, attention, and see if you can close them and make sure that you understand you are in sort of close touch with the customer on that. Deal size changes. Is sometimes what happens is this certain estimate we provided to the customer many times. Oh, no, no, no. I felt that my requirements have changed. My top management wanted me to include this. Fair enough, it happens. 3 to 4 times it is happening. They are changing. They're asking you for a quote, asking for your quote, asking for a quote, wasting everybody's time. And possibly they might be doing some comparison with some competitor and they take all the information from you and close something else. So just be wary of that. You have to be watchful. I'm not saying it's just a flag 3 times. Maybe they have certain very genuine problem, but just keep a flag. Why are they asking for things deal size changes every now and then? Is there any genuine reason behind it, or they're just trying to do some study and trying to build their own RFP or whatever? Sometime by interaction with you, they might be building their own RFP and they work with some companies and try to have some other vendor in their mind. Time slippage. Sometimes what happens is they have got everything. You've done all the hard work. You started from presentation, making an email presentation, giving proposal, discussing proposal, closing, and closing mein contract signing mein. The closure stage mein they keep on shifting. Oh, my VP is traveling or something like that. It's okay, but just keep a wary of that. If it's getting pushed back every time, it's happening every now and then I think you've got to be wary of that as well. So these are few observations I thought I should discuss with you. Thank you very much. But before I finish my topic, I would like to introduce one tool to you guys. I mean, I'll run a small video as I promised because I know lead generation is a very scientific process. I talked on many things which you don't have to do manually. Don't worry about it. In fact, very good CRM tools will give you those signals by themselves, those warning by themselves. So there's something, a HubSpot CRM, which I thought I spotted for you all. I thought you should know about it. You can start very free of cost for your organization. Share the task. I use it. I created a small demo on this, but I would like you to at least listen to what HubSpot is saying. You can do your sales, you can do your marketing. So I'll just run through this video and see if I might have to share my possibly sound also. Looks like share sound. Then only I think you'll be able to hear that.
Hi, I'm Felice Matos, manager on the Implementation Specialist team, and today I want to take you on a personal tour of HubSpot. Founded in 2006, HubSpot is a growth platform that gives you the tools you need to market, sell, and service your customers the right way, all in one place. HubSpot started with the observation that short-sighted growth tactics, things like sending spam and forcing deals, simply don't work in a world where customers have more and more options. If you want to grow a business, you need to invest in creating a great experience for your customers from start to finish. We call this growing better, and we built HubSpot to help you do just that. The foundation of HubSpot is HubSpot CRM, a free and easy-to-use database that brings everything together into a single shared view of your customers. Connected to HubSpot CRM are 3 hubs. Marketing Hub, which helps marketing teams attract new customers by creating and sharing content, running tailored ad campaigns, and engaging with leads through email and messages. Sales Hub, which gives sales teams everything they need to sell in a relevant, personal way that's better and more efficient for reps and for their buyers. And Service Hub, which helps you engage with your customers, guide them towards solutions, and turn them into promoters who help your company grow even more. Each hub is available in different tiers, which means you can get started easily with only the tools you need and grow with HubSpot over time, all the way up to enterprise. HubSpot is also a platform, which means that it easily connects to other tools you use to power your growth efforts and the rest of your business.
Hi, I'm Ari Plout, Product Marketing Manager for HubSpot CRM. HubSpot CRM is a free system of record and database that is designed and built for growing businesses just like yours. If you haven't tried HubSpot CRM yet, you can get started with a free account in just a couple of minutes over at HubSpot.com. Over time, adding the other tools you need like Marketing Hub, Sales Hub, or Service Hub is easy to do. Let's start with some of the key features of HubSpot CRM. HubSpot CRM organizes everything you know about the contacts and companies you work with in a single place. You can easily store data in custom fields, browse a timeline of past interactions, and communicate with your contacts from a single, unified view. HubSpot CRM also gives your team the tools they need to manage every interaction with their prospects and customers. For your sales team, deals make it easy to organize and track potential sales as they move through your pipeline. Tasks allow everyone on your team to track to-dos, set reminders, and collaborate on work. And tickets allow your service or support team to track inquiries and issues and collaborate with the rest of your team on resolving them in one central place. HubSpot CRM also features Conversations, a collaborative inbox that brings together messages from live chat, team email, and Facebook Messenger, so you can view, manage, and reply to those conversations from prospects and customers in one central place. HubSpot CRM is a free set of tools that you can start using today. It also includes free versions of some of the most popular features from Marketing Hub, Sales Hub, and Service Hub, including web forms, pop-ups, and calling. You can learn more about the tools in HubSpot CRM by visiting HubSpot's pricing page or product catalog.
I think I just wanted to give initial introduction on this. So I think more it's you go, there's an implementation, you can integrate this HubSpot with your website, and you can track your cookies who are coming to your website, what they're looking forward to, and you can accordingly send the sales mail to them, because they are really showing some interest in your services and products and services, and they have a complete implementation guide, and they can always, somebody needs it, I can also share it offline. So thank you very much, everyone, for being nice audience and patient listening. Thank you very much, and over to now for the questions now.
Yeah, thank you, Rajiv ji. There are a few questions which were coming up on the chat box. So I'll just read them out to you. If you can address them, that would be really nice. One of the questions which Aubrey has asked is LinkedIn better for B2B or is it equally good for B2C customer acquisition process?
I think we can close the screen. Sorry.
Sorry,
Yeah,
yes, I think.
sorry.
Stop share?
Yes, you can stop sharing.
Sorry, yeah. So very good question. Primarily, yes, LinkedIn more useful for B2B sales, but yes, it can be exploited at different capacities, So once you say B2C sales, as I said, that you have to sort of understand what product, what segment you are going to talk of. And today the LinkedIn community has become large, very large in nature, So B2C sales has to be driven at different levels, but yes, primarily for B2B, it is a very ideal tool. Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. One question from Kanchan Dwivedi. Where does one get the email IDs for mass mailing?
No, I think you was telling me how do you get this? I think it all depends how you start. Suppose you start a marketing campaign, okay? You can sort of start a marketing campaign, or maybe I didn't talk about the paid services because I thought first I will talk about the very simple ones. And you may create a very nice landing page, maybe in the HubSpot or whatever. It's up to you how you want. I'm just giving an option to you. And create a marketing campaign and launch it on maybe Google Ad Networks, launch it on Facebook Pixel and so on. And then you have a sign up forms properly designed, and people just come there, put their signups, and then you create a database, and based on that you keep on building your databases. Second is, of course, when you go to Sales Navigator, based on your services, they also have certain database with them. They are paid services, so you can buy that database as well. And one more thing I would like to talk about it. This is very important, data creation. I mean, events and conferences, when you go, you do networking. So you meet up with the people, make your relationships, and so these are different sources of getting your email IDs. I would say contacts, basically, and just nurturing them in due course of time.
Thanks, Rajiv. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good question, by the way. Yeah.
There's another question from Zakir Kalami. I want my aftermarket SaaS platform to be known by every prospect in relevant industries. What strategy would work to announce presence, engage, convert, or onboard and scale?
I think it's a very long question. So you are into the SaaS space, right? That's what I understand, basically.
Yes.
And the kind of services you may be having something. Of course, you have some kind of services, some audience in mind. So I think, as I said, I'm just talking because I haven't seen your product, by the way. So I'm just saying the first and the foremost thing is to engage with the people, educate. As I said, be selfless to achieve selfish objectives, So focus on content. I covered one case study for this very simple reason, because if your product is something which people are searching online, then your job becomes simple, very simple in nature, and you go to the digital marketing strategy. If this is a product which is very niche area and people are not that much clear and they are doing some offline something, then of course your strategy will be different. But of course it has to be mix and match. But if it's totally online thing, and if you find out that 74 to 75 to 80% of the people are doing all the research online, then obviously the route which I'm talking about will be more relevant, content. I think more we can discuss offline and discuss and see what is a specific solution you should go for. But SaaS is certainly good for users, as I said. Generally, I would say it's very tough to answer how many SaaS businesses make money. But yes, I mean, as I said initially in 2013, 2016, it has evolved and a lot of people made money. But today it depends. The competition is fierce. It's not as simple as it was earlier. It was a game changer plan. So earlier more advantage kind of a thing. But today you have to be very careful in what services you're talking about. What price are you offering on them? And is it really, I mean, the price between SaaS service and non-SaaS, if I just go and buy off the shelf, is there any considerable difference between the two? All these factors will make a difference. Just launching a SaaS service will not make any sense,
Yeah, Aubrey, you've raised your hands. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Rajiv. It's excellent. Are you based in Delhi, by the way?
Yeah, I'm in Delhi. Right.
So I'm in Delhi, NCR. I'd love to meet with you personally besides the phone call. Thanks for the phone call on the slide, phone number.
Sure. Certainly.
Yeah. Rajiv, one quick question. We are into music education, and we have actually, way before COVID, we have been advocating online education. COVID has helped us, and there is no looking back. Now, two discoveries, two questions. One is social media for a startup. So social media can be very expensive, paid social media,
Right.
And among the social media, LinkedIn is, I think, the most expensive. So the strategy we've evolved is marketing physical and execution of product delivery digital. So it's, we're adopting the strategy. In terms of product development, since we're on the road of the product delivery and we're looking at more features, to add features, would you distinguish features? I mean, when I look at the roadmap ahead, I look at some of the features developing into various products. Now, you've handled multiple product developments. Would you think of adding features as potential future add-on products, or should features remain features in the main product?
Nice. This is a traditional question, Sorry, what's your name?
Aubrey Aloysius.
Aubrey. Okay, wonderful. First of all, I can see a lot of music instruments behind you, which is very good to see. Music is life. I like a lot of music myself, traditional music, Anyway, coming back to your question, launching a product, I can't give you actual straightway answer to you. Now you said, yeah, I keep on adding features, keep on adding features. Do I say it's a new product? Do I say, oh, well, I'm adding more feature to the same product? Now you see, it's very, very interesting how you present yourself. And I know I'm when you're saying that you're doing so many features, you're talking to various people, you're doing your own research. And when you understand that, well, there are certain features which are improvisation features. Acha, SNA, this could be making the thing more user friendly. If I go a little more depth. But there are certain features which are very, very specific. We call it a mega release. One is tinkering around the features. Second is mega release, which is a drastic change from step 1 to step 2. You understand?
Yeah.
Which means you are making the journey completely different. जैसे नोटबंदी हुआ था ना, तो मोदी जी changed the complete plan. Something which is disruptive in nature, something which is like making the things product look different, packaging differently. Then you can say, okay, this is a different product, okay, or you can call it a bigger version. Otherwise, you can, in my term, I could say addition 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, wo to chota hai. But if it's a bigger one, mega release, then better go with a proper marketing launch and say, hey, this is what it does, This makes the music guy's life totally different or something like that, totally different music experience. So it all depends after your market research. And thereafter, once you feel it's a killer feature, go for it with a big bang.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rajiv.
Hope it answers your question.
No, perfectly, perfect. And look forward to discussing and meeting with you personally.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone has any query, you can raise your hands or send your query via chat.
Yeah, Sunil has a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Rajiv. As everyone said, this was a very insightful presentation. I have just one concept, lead client, you emphasized in the beginning. I did not understand that per se myself.
Sorry, what is that? I'm sorry, I didn't get your question.
Lead client, you mentioned about a thing called lead clients or lead customers in the beginning when you were saying
lead generation you're talking about?
No, lead customer, the person who
lead users. Lead users. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry,
what
not lead.
It
was
yeah.
See, basically, when you are in a college or you have been in the industry for a long time, you keep interacting with a lot of people, with R&D department, with the suppliers and customers and everybody, and you get some surface idea about what the problem if people are facing in a particular domain. It could be legal, it could be retail, it could be anything, I'm saying. And now it could be related to ERP or something, CRM, it could be something else, distribution and logistics or whatever. And then you form an opinion. Achha, if this is what I do, I'm going to succeed and this is what I should do. All I'm trying to say is that's a very limited vision you have. What professor from MIT and what the people have been doing in the market is that please do some more research on this before you take an idea to go for the startup. Might be the need which you discovered was a very surface need. Please don't stop at that level. Like, good root cause analysis mein bolte na, why, 5 baar why pucho. You come to the root of it. So ask yourself, go to the lead users, those who are ahead of the masses in the company, you have been interacting with them and say, yeah, these are the guys who have been using this product for 10, 15 years, or they have been dealing with such problem and such process for so many years. Have such groups, call them, have a discussion with them, and maybe formal over in a cafe shop or wherever it's up to you how you want to go about it, and then get more insight from them. Then talk to the people, because these are then you'll realize, oh, the problem jo main soch raha tha wo to kuch tha hi nahi, that this guy is solving in some other place, but it's a bigger problem on that.
Right. Got
so
it.
Look at the bigger pie. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, Anupma.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, no question as such, but there are so many learnings now. I'm thinking how to implement that in my startup.
Wonderful. We can have discussion offline.
Sure, especially the lead generations and all that part. That's my forte, sales and marketing. So I was thinking in that direction how to utilize the learning. Thank you so much, Rajiv. It was wonderful.
Sure.
Yeah.
And Rajiv, I'd also like to thank you for the wonderful session. My startup, I'm building Inspire, basically a community of women, and I'm looking to add women to my network. So it would be a lot of B2C, basically. So, would love more sessions around, I think, especially there's something around B2C, focusing on India market, especially. So that I would really love that. So that was a feedback.
Certainly, certainly. We can have more discussion on that. Certainly.
Yeah,
So
Hassan,
Rajiv,
please go ahead.
number of ladies in the cohort. So you have Rajul, Devika, Sunita, all these are ladies who started entrepreneurship and they are growing their companies in very different areas. Rajul, any question from your side?
No, not really right now, but yeah, it was a very interesting session and a lot of learning. So yeah.
Hassan has a question. Hassan, please go ahead.
Hi, sorry, I wasn't sure if I was on mute. Thanks a lot, Rajiv, for the session. Ours is an online platform for freelancers to find employment with startups and MSMEs. And so on the demand side, we're looking at generating leads in the SMEs and startup space. Right. My question is very specifically to HubSpot, and I would deeply appreciate if you could share that implementation guide that you have.
Sure. Sure.
I will connect with you on LinkedIn and try to
Sure.
take that discussion forward.
Sure.
I also wanted an advice from you in terms of HubSpot has various tiers of plans, right? So there is the base plan.
Yeah.
Then there is something which is more advanced, and then something even more advanced. So should we just go with the core plan, the free version? Is that sufficient, or do we need to go for a higher plan? That evaluation is something that
Sorry. See, when I showed you that video, it was clearly stated. See, there are a lot of features. When you, as I said, somebody asked me about how do we create database. So LinkedIn has also got this. Similarly, HubSpot has also got a lot of databases and so on. Initially, to begin with, they have a module called contact model, for example. Initially, I think you want to do a lot of lead tracking, right? Importing the context in Excel sheet or CSV file, whatever you have, keeping in one central. If you're a startup, you've got 5 people, they're working on leads. One should know who what other is working on, right? Collaborative way of working, right? So initial problem is to have a platform which allows you to do the complete lead generation and tracking in a team manner, right? In such a case, you can simply go for the free thing, I mean, a simple contact management tool, and this doesn't cost you anything and gives you a lot of features. You can manage your tasks, you can get reminders, you can send emails, you can set calling, etc. And based on your thing, it will also guide you to some extent. Well, are you going the right direction? Is lead opportunity going to get converted into the deal? You saw the complete board that you'll get in the free of cost anyway. And you can see different stages. But if you want to go for advanced features and you want to go sort of more pop-ups, doing integration and doing more in-depth analysis of your website, integration with third-party tools, that obviously you can plan later on. So those are the things which you can, so you have to go step by step. You want to launch an email campaign, you have a Facebook, just go there. And this is an integrated platform. You don't have to go to 10 different places. Launch your campaign, get the some prospects out of it, keep tracking them. So all those small things can be done. But where you need deeper integration, deeper understanding of lead generation and scaling it, making new forms based on what the previous thing was, which is a very constant process. In such a case, then obviously you have to have some stronger tool which allows you to do it on its. Otherwise, you'll have to recruit more number of people.
Right,
So
right.
to answer your question, start with a simple version, create your email campaigns, get some prospects, track them, import your content, and get going.
All right. And if I just want 2-3 team members to do that, that can also be done.
Oh yes. I can have no problems at all. I mean, 5-member team, 6-member team, you can invite them. They become a part of your team, and you can assign tasks to them. I don't want to talk to many. So for example, one is on leave. You can see the history, what he has done or she has done, and you can take it from there,
All right. Thanks so much. Look forward to the implementation guide.
Yeah.
Other questions from us.
Yeah.
So I think one other thing which is coming up is this usage of tools, which I think Rajiv has brought about. We have got a tendency, being in India, trying to build large number of people, but you may not need it. So you may use tools cost effectively as he proposed. And we also have a lot of companies here itself who can assist, each other in order to speed up rather than hiring fixed cost. So we have to see how we can keep the fixed cost low, but outcomes high.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And makes the process more automated in nature, and easy to track.
Yes. So more questions, because sales is extremely important. That is only thing that we see sometimes as important.
I think it's a great subject. Sales is the only department that earns us money. Everything else, paisa nikal jata hai.
Yeah, and I had some questions around the close of a sale, basically. So how, what are the various ways if you're selling to a retail customer, basically, what kind of techniques basically are helpful in speeding up?
I remember I put one of the slides actually for that very reason. I know this question will come up. And there was a difference between the selling software service and the retail clients, right? Which is where I said that in the software services, which are having a more larger sales cycles, need to have more content created, webinars and things like that. In the retail market, this product is tangible in nature. You can show something. So there are, as I talked about, you can have promotional features, you can have networking with the distributors, your secondary distributors, work with them, come out with a strategy. And I think offline advertisements and things like that, that will be really helpful actually. So I think those are the things which you need to work out with that as compared. Once you are in the software-based products, then your strategy becomes different. So in the retail products, the things are easier to close. People look for competition. Then loyalty management is a very important segment. One should not ignore it actually. Make a very good loyalty management so that spurious loyalty becomes there's something called spurious loyalty. They will talk about it. You want your customer to walk 5 miles for you, even if it costs a little higher, isn't it? This is where it's going to be a real loyalty. So look from that perspective. How do I retain them? Once the customer comes to you, you're not going to make good profits. Profitability will come through the retention as per the Pareto principle, which is what we teach in marketing to everybody. And this is where I think you have to come out with these strategies. Acquisition has a strategy, retention has a strategy. And once you work on them, then I think that's done. So acquisition will go in parallel. That will involve certain costs. You have to be wary of that. And retention will add to the profitability, for which you have to go for loyalty management programs and things like that.
Sure. Thank you.
Competition is very fierce, by the way. Yeah.
Right.
So I think what point you said, Rajiv, is interesting because the first time customer may give me lesser profitability as compared to a repeat sale.
Absolutely.
Compare that, individually and see, okay, one is given that it should be better.
I keep on saying new customers like a new marriage. They are testing each other, by the way. And suddenly in that process, you end up incurring so much cost. Acha, ye bhi le lo, ye feature bhi de do. But moment they come to you, they doubt your pricing strategy. Moment they get clinched onto the have seen, then you start.
Can't hear Rajiv.
Rajiv, we are not able to hear you.
Rajiv, your headset, probably the battery's gone off. Maybe try the mic of the laptop itself.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, yes.
All right. Wonderful solution. So thank you so much. Sometimes the solutions are simpler and we keep on troubleshooting somewhere else, Sorry, I don't know what I was saying, so I'm lost myself, So anyway, I was saying something. I don't know. So
So there's a question in the chat which says that there are many companies which approach you with a database of customers for lead generation. So is it advisable to engage with them?
अब ठीक है, मतलब मैं कोई clear cut answer नहीं दे सकता. Maybe, I mean, when you say databases, people have been selling for years. Now the question is, this databases, I want to tell you, so even if when you go to US, attend a conference, 3 months in advance, they give you some database. I have seen you contact those people. These are the booths. These are the databases. These are the decision makers. But again, I say that you have to be very smart unless and until you have a proper strategy. Again, please refer to my slide on cold calling, because once you get a database, you should understand, first of all, which database is all about, which vertical does it cover? Does it comply with what you're looking forward to? Any database will not help you. If I say, please don't go for it and waste your money. But if it's a CXO data, I'm just saying, in my case, if it's CXOs, I'd love to have it. In my case, I need database which has got more than 51 employees or 200 employees, because I know this need doesn't arise in the startup. I know this need is going to be more in the telecom sector or FMCG product than this. So all that thing has to be looked into. Like in Sales Navigator, in LinkedIn, you have in Sales Navigator, you have a small, there was a thing which I said cold calling, in which what you do is you can select the vertical, you can select the number of employees, you can select the designation. This is a product from LinkedIn. You can try free of cost also. This is where lies the power of these tools. That gives a huge data and you immediately get the leads. So database should be meaningful to you, in other words. That's all I'm trying to say.
Sure. Thank you.
Rajiv, usually I am very skeptical about these offers that we receive on email, and we're bombarded. And I think your approach to generating qualified emails through the business process as a startup is far more reliable.
Yeah.
Because the inquiries come in naturally, organically. They may not need the service now, maybe sometime later, keep engaging them.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is what is called no lead is ever a bad lead. Please go with no idea is a bad idea, as we say. Similarly, no lead is ever a bad lead, because you're looking for a strategy. So for example, somebody doesn't have a requirement right now, but you got to be still in touch with them, right? And have a proper strategy. Maybe they are at stage 1, stage 2. I say don't put your too much of energy, but don't write it off as well. So lead generation needs a lot of proper strategy. Sales funnel has to be looked into, and there are softwares, as I said. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much on the tools now. And that also guides you to the AI algorithm, artificial intelligence algorithm. By either apni energy jada dalo. So I think this is why I say these tools are very, very, very useful. I'll tell you.
Rajiv, in fact, that a session, maybe Pradeep, a session on that would be very useful for us to hone our sales strategy. Maybe a separate session, Rajiv.
Yeah, we can have an offline discussion as well.
Yes, makes sense. I think with this, we have come to a close of a very interesting session by Rajiv. And what impressed me was the detail that he has taken on each topic. So as startup, we touch certain things on surface, but today we had an opportunity to touch the strategy, the product, and trying to do away with what we should not do, the screening. And after that, we look at the lead generation. And what again I liked was the age in a stage. So that rhymed well also, age in a stage, and Aubrey would make some song out of it later on. So what happens is in a real life, we get stuck in one of those stages. And we have to see which stage we are getting stuck. Is it a regular phenomena, or it's like, as he said, erratic nature of a specific customer? So both sides you will get data points. And then, of course, look at some of these sales methods and tools. So tools and automation. So if you look at, probably we know, and most of the people in their go-to-market put all the names, but how much of it they do, they have to really ask themselves. As a person from outside can give you a guidance and details, but later we have to work. So thank you all for joining in. Thank you, Rajiv, for taking us through and opening our minds to some of these aspects which are important. with this, we come to close of this session, and we have more ideas for the next sessions, as Aubrey said, and we'll take up that in the next times. So have a good Makar Sankranti, and thank you. Good weekend for you all. Thanks, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. You want to have a selfie?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
For a selfie, we need all the cameras on, all the videos.
Yeah,
on.
we need all the cameras on, and let's do a selfie.
Let's do that. Let's do that. Sunil, you'll do it and send it to all of us.
Yeah.
By the way, I took one, but many cameras were off.
Now we are seeing more cameras coming in.
Yeah, it's a good suggestion.
Okay, join in for the selfie.
Anjan, sir.
Bye.
Ranjan, where's your bottle?
वो नीचे पड़ा हुआ है. I know I've got a reputation to keep.
And I have to remind all.
But I never saw Anjan in one session.
टेबल के नीचे रखते हैं ना?
हाँ, रखता है.
So is that all?
Yeah.
Sonny, you're on mute, so you have to tell us when to smile.
I took one from my phone already.
Okay. Now I'll just take one screenshot. I thought someone was taking it. I'll take one. Yeah. Please smile, everyone. Yeah, done.
Wonderful. Thank you all.
That is tough.
Thank you, Rajiv.
Now we can stop smiling.
A smile exercises many more muscles in the face. Good for
That's a good incentive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, bye.
Well, thank you.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone. Thanks.
See, this is the last stage.